A lot to do in Concord. Joining us to talk a little bit about this upcoming session is State Senator David Boutin. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Charlie, and Happy New Year to you and to your listeners.
Well, thanks, David. Happy New Year to you and yours as well. The top item, of course, is the budget, and there has been all kinds of pre-discussion in both the House and the State Senate of how this will all be tackled. It's an ugly problem and something that obviously has to be dealt with.
You're absolutely right, Charlie. Actually, I've identified three legislative priorities for this session. And the number one is the budget. We need to return to fiscal restraint. We have an estimated $600 to $800 million deficit we're going to have to tackle. And we are committed to no new taxes or increased fees. And the budget process this year, I can assure you, will be one of transparency, accountability, and lacking the accounting gimmicks like bonding operational costs that we've seen over the last 3 years. And secondly, we're going to do things differently. We're going to do things the way families do it. They sit down and they look at what income is coming in, and then they decide what they can spend. In the last 2 years, what we've seen is just the opposite. So we're going to be focusing on revenue projections, what we can realistically expect, and then we're going to build the budget around those revenues.
David, is it realistic to think that really balance this budget without any increases in taxes or fees?
Absolutely, Charlie. We're going to find ways to do that. Let me give you one good example. We had a bill in last year to convert our Medicaid program to managed care. And there are opportunities there for significant savings. And let me explain it this way. We have approximately 150,000 beneficiaries. On average, compared to other states across the country, we are paying $2,000 per beneficiary more for our fee-for-service managed Medicaid program in this state than they are across the country. So there's the potential. The very, very upside potential is $300 million. We could certainly reach at least $100 million in savings there. So that's a huge savings. And so we will be looking at things like that. We will be looking at consolidating various aspects of town government to find savings there. And so it's going to be a lot of hard work, but we're ready to roll up our sleeves and get it done.
We're speaking with State Senator David Boutin. He represents Manchester's wards 1, 2, and 12, also the towns of Bow, Candia, Dunbarton, and Hooksett. David, you mentioned of the four committees you're on, two of them certainly are very important when it comes to the budget and to spending money here in the state of New Hampshire, capital budget and ways and means. Being on those two committees, does that allow you more insight into what's going on with this whole budget situation?
Well, absolutely. First of all, the one other change that's going to happen this year is that not only are we going to be dealing with the capital budget, but we're also, all bonding bills are going to be coming to the capital budget committee so that we can have keep a very close tabs on what is being proposed. Because frankly, we have very serious limitations on the state's bonding capacity. So we have to be very cautious about what we do. We have to have very limited priorities so we can get those done without negatively affecting our bond rating and our bonding capacity.
David, beyond the money issues and the budget, we know that in the House, the new Speaker, Bill O'Brien, has a number of social issues that he wants to re-examine, maybe open up some of those issues that were voted over the past couple of years. Are there priorities in the Senate to look at some of those social issues as well?
Well, Charlie, earlier in our conversation, I told you that there were, Senate standpoint, there were three legislative priorities. And we talked about one of the budget. The second one is the Constitutional Education Amendment. The third one is the retirement system. And this is, well, I know that, and I hear your question, this is where the Senate's focus is. I know there are going to be some bills that are going to come across from the other side of the wall. marriage, and so forth. But there are two other pieces of legislation that I think are going to be significant this year and have generated a lot of conversation. One is gambling. Our mutual friend, Senator D'Alessandro, will be filing another banning gambling legislation this year. The second one is the Evergreen Clause. And for your listeners who don't know what the Evergreen Clause is, that's legislation was passed a couple of years and it allows a situation where a contract expires between a school district and its teachers union. All of the step increases and the cost of living adjustments and all those things continue to happen while the contract has expired. So that is a chief goal of ours, is to repeal that Evergreen Clause so that we can level the playing field again between municipal entities and the unions that are negotiating.
All right. Lastly, Dave, before I let you go, if you're an athlete and you're getting ready for the big game, you get all fired up for it. This is a big game to a lot of people. Are you fired up for this session?
Hey, listen, you know what? I'm like the Patriots. This is the Super Bowl coming up.
It sure is.
And you know what, Charlie? The campaign, the 2010 campaign was about three issues: jobs, jobs, jobs. And each and every bill that we look at, we're going to study it with an eye to impact on small businesses and the economic well-being of our families. And businesses have drowning from this flood of regulations that have been passed over the last few years. And it is our plan to stem that tide and reverse some of these regulations that are, strangling small businesses, preventing them from growing, investing, and creating new jobs. And, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. David, we'll stay in touch with you throughout the session. Certainly appreciate you getting up early and talking to the folks here in New Hampshire and in your district.